Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Fourth and final game of this series between the Texas Rangers and the Toronto Blue Jays. In the first three, to borrow a cliche, have all gone right down to the wire. The Blue Jays taking 2 of the first 3. I'll show you Jeff Bannister's lineup tonight for the Rangers. Rougned Odor has been so effective in the leadoff spot in the last week or so. He's done a lot of damage against the Blue Jays. So has young Nomar Mazara. 4 for 12 with a home run. He's got a hit in each of his last 6 games overall. And Prince Fielder, although struggling over the first month and change of this season, has had a lot of success in his career in a lefty-lefty matchup against Jay Happ.
33-year-old Jay Happ will make his 6th start of the season. He's off to a great start at 3-0. And one thing Jay has done, he's really kept the ball on the ground. So far in 5 starts, they've turned 8 double plays behind Jay Happ. And this is a little bit of a departure for Jay. He's always been up in the zone, but now he's throwing that 2-seam fastball down in the zone. As a result, he's getting a lot of quick innings and getting those double plays. Defensively, a little change for the Blue Jays tonight in the outfield. Ezekiel Carrera is in left field, Pilar in center, and Bautista normally in right. Once again, infield, Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Darwin Barney with the lefty on the mound gets to start at second. Justin Smoke at first, and Russell Martin will handle Jay Happ tonight. Carrera making his 7th start in left field, and he has played very well out there recently. Had a terrific series against Oakland, making a couple diving catches out there in the alley in left center.
So once again tonight, Rougned Odor will get it started. In his last 6 leadoff at-bats, in his first at-bat of the last 6 games, he's gone 5 for 6 with a couple of doubles and a home run. He is not a guy to be taken lightly. Sean Barber, the home plate umpire, rings up strike 1. He has been a thorn in the Blue Jays side last year and this year. He'll be followed by Nomar Mazara and then Adrian Beltre. Breaking ball from Happ in the dirt. Jay Happ began his big league career as a member of the Phillies in 2007. Of course, was a Blue Jay in 2012, 13, and 14. Started last year with Seattle and then was traded to Pittsburgh at the trade deadline. And that turned into a very good thing for Jay Happ because they helped him. Ray Searage, the pitching coach, who's worked on a lot of guys, really improved the mechanics and the mindset of Happ. And he had a terrific 2 months in a Pirates uniform.
Made 11 starts and won 7 games for Pittsburgh. Jay came back to the Blue Jays, signing very quickly as a free agent. He's got a great relationship with Pete Walker. He likes the team. He likes the city. He's very comfortable here. Plus the fact he got a very good 3-year contract. He's got stability now, and I think that's part of the reason he's off to such a good start.
Looking at a pretty crisp pace. The 2-2 grounded past the mound to his left. Tulowitzki, 1 down.
Well, Jay Happ, you can see his numbers against the Rangers over his last 3 starts. They're very impressive. ERA 183. Opponents hitting under 200 against Jay, and he had one stretch against the Rangers where he struck out 6 straight batters, and he was utilizing a high fastball. He's a little different. The number that I like, 14.9 pitches per inning. He's very efficient against Texas.
2 of those starts as a Mariner, 1 as a Blue Jays. He pumps in a strike to Nomar Mazara. Mazara from the Dominican Republic was given a big signing bonus when he sided with Texas, better than $4.5 million. A broken bat, flares, going to drop into right field for a base hit.
Boy, this is the one thing baseball is really concerned about, these broken bats going into the seats, and that ball hit around the label. The barrel flies into the seats, and that's why they've talked about extending those safety nets to the end of the dugouts. You see it gets sawed off, and there goes that big part of the bat with that very dangerous pointy end, and Mazara looks at the bat more than he does the baseball.
As of this year, each team was basically encouraged to extend the netting, but each team can do what they want. Fenway Park is an example where the dugouts are a little further down the line than they are here. They've really increased the netting. It's a 40 or 50 extra feet of netting down each line here, but at Rogers Center it's a little bit of a different situation. The screen that they had last year almost goes to the inside edge of the dugout already. So some ballparks have not made changes. Some ballparks have made significant changes. Fenway's a place where some people have gotten badly hurt.
Yeah, they sure have, and it's a thing that obviously people are very concerned about. It's difficult here at Rogers Center because there's nothing to anchor a net to.
So a broken bat base hit for Mazara, and with one out, here's Adrian Beltre hitting just .195 over his last 11 games. A strike, 2-1.
Beltre just 2 for 12 in this series with an RBI, and he's only faced Happ 10 times. He has 3 hits, but I think it's a different Jay Happ than he's seen in the past.
Fouled back, 2-2.
We mentioned Jay has already had 8 double plays turned behind him in 5 starts. That's a significant increase in the rate of double plays, the highest he's ever gotten. In 2009, they had 16 turned behind him, so he's off to a great start and really trusting that 2-seam fastball.
He's battled back to an even count now with a Beltre. 2-2 on the way, and a swing and a ground ball to the left side. Donaldson a sliding stop to second, one on to first, not in time. Would have been a terrific double play. Donaldson hopping around over at third, and I think he's saying maybe they should have a look at that one.
Well, Beltre hustling out of the box, and Marlo Hale, the bench coach, checking with the video coordinating team inside. Take a look at it. It wasn't that sharply hit, and you can see how far Donaldson has to go, and Beltre's taking 3 or 4 strides before he throws it to second from his butt, and then makes a good throw to Barney. Barney's relay at first just a tad late. Good job by Beltre to bust it down the line to stay out of that double play.
So the Blue Jays saw what everybody at home just saw, and they will not appeal. So it's a fielder's choice. 2 down. Beltre at first, and here's Prince Fielder. Lefty-lefty matchup with Fielder hitting just .202 with 2 home runs at this point of the season. And a strike. Fielder, of course, has had some monster years in his career, most of them going back when he was a Milwaukee Brewer. He's had 104 at-bats this year. He's been pretty productive with the hits he has had to drive in 17, but just 2 homers in 104 at-bats is very un-Prince-like as he chases, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, and he was late there. Now watch Tulowitzki. He's going to move around a little bit more with 2 strikes, more straight away, as he expects Fielder to try to stay on this pitch from the lefty Jay Happ.
0-2. Pretty good pitch and a pretty good take there by Fielder.
And you remember in the past how Jay was very deliberate, took a lot of time in between pitches. It's a totally different Jay Happ now as he's really picked up the tempo.
1-2 on the way, bounced in and bounces off Martin up the first baseline, and up to second on the wild pitch goes Beltre.
Yeah, here he overthrew that breaking ball. Russell didn't have much of a chance to block it. It bounced so far out in front of home that Russell just trying to get as big as possible to play it off his chest protector, but it kicked to the first base side. Watch where this ball hits. As a catcher, you just don't have much of an idea where that ball's going to bounce. He tried to get his chest protector in front of it, but it kicked off the side.
Half the set. And the 2-2 on the way, and a swing and a liner into left center. That's a base hit, and it's going to give the Rangers an early lead. Fielder driving in Beltre with an RBI single. 1-0 Texas.
Well, that wild pitch factored in immediately as Fielder picks up the RBI, his 18th of the season. Well, he's making the most out of his base hits, and they certainly missed their spot. Watch the target. Down and away, trying to keep that ball down, and he misses up and away. And with 2 strikes, hitters are thinking about just going the other way, not trying to do too much. If he gets that ball down, he probably gets a ground ball to shortstop.
So the Rangers take an early lead again. They got 2 in the first inning last night. Now here's Ian Desmond, the batter, as he sends one down the right field line, foul. On Tuesday night, Odor homered in the first inning. So the Rangers have scored in the first inning, Buck, in 3 games in a row.
Yeah, they sure have. And that top of the order has done a good job. And Jay Happ gave up that broken bat base hit to Mazzara, then the fielder's choice. Wild pitch factoring in big time, of course.
Desmond looking pretty comfortable as an outfielder. He's a natural shortstop, but he's played a lot of left field for Texas. He's starting in center field again tonight. Whether it's left or center, he looks like he's having some fun out there.
Yeah, he sure does. And this was a kind of a last opportunity for him. He signed very late in the offseason. Nobody really bid on his contract. He was a free agent, making just his 6th start in center field.
Ground ball to short. That'll end the inning. But once again, the Rangers strike early. A run on 2 hits. Blue Jays coming up at the bottom of the first, down 1-0. Dan Schulman to Buck Martinez. We do the Rangers with a 1-0 lead on the Blue Jays as we take a look at John Gibbons' lineup tonight. Kevin Pillar's back up in the leadoff spot because Michael Saunders is getting a night off. Josh Donaldson, outstanding numbers as a Blue Jay against left-handed pitching, and he will see a lefty tonight. And Edwin Encarnacion hit a home run last night. May has been his month. He's got some good numbers in his career against Derek Holland.
29-year-old Derek Holland will make his 6th start of the season. He's done a good job, gotten off to a good start. You see his ERA at 2.48. Right-handers aren't doing much against him, and left-handers even less. And he's battled injuries the last couple of seasons, but last year and into this year, he's healthy and throwing the ball well.
So just a day off, John Gibbons says, for Michael Saunders, and Saunders also didn't have good numbers against Holland. So Kevin Pillar moves back up to the leadoff spot tonight. Although Gibbons says that Saunders will be back in there tomorrow night. As every Blue Jays fan knows, Pillar did not hit much in the leadoff spot. They moved him down in the order. He's been on a tear ever since, and now he's back up in the leadoff spot just for one night.
Michael Saunders 0 for 11 against Derek Holland, so that factors in a bit as well.
Down and in, 2 balls and a strike to Pillar with Donaldson and Bautista to follow. Holland is 29 years of age, 3-1 with a 2.48 ERA this year, coming off a 6 shutout inning performance against the Angels his last time out. And he has never given up a run in this ballpark. He has been hit by the Blue Jays, but all of that was down in Arlington. He's pitched 16 1/3 innings in this ballpark, and he's never given up an earned run.
Yeah, he's one of those lefties that can get the ball inside and tie up right-handed hitters. And in this ballpark, which is a hitter's ballpark, there's no question about it. You see what he's done in 3 appearances here. 2 starts and 1 relief appearance. Opponents hitting just 172. Blue Jays haven't done much against him. They haven't gotten many base runners on.
3-2 hit a ton, but foul down the third baseline up into the 5th deck. Up in the 500 level. Pillar never moved from the plate. He knew he had pulled it foul, but man, he hit that ball far.
Kevin Pillar hit a double in the 9th inning on Tuesday, and he said it was the hardest ball he had ever hit. And he's swinging a hot bat.
Broken bat base hit. You think eventually he'll be the leadoff hitter again, right?
Yeah, I do. I just think because they need the balance of that left-handed bat of Michael Saunders down in the order. And you see this swing, broken bat. He gets it inside. That's the pitch we were talking about that's been so effective for Holland pitching in this ballpark, but Pilar fights it off.
So a leadoff base hit for Pilar, and that'll bring up Donaldson. Since the start of the 2013 season, he's got 37 home runs off left-handers. That's the most in baseball. Lines it to center field. It'll drop for a base hit. And the Blue Jays off to a good start here. First and second with nobody out. That will bring up Jose Bautista. And last year, after the Bautista home run in Game 5 of the division series, Derek Holland took offense. Was among those on the Texas side who took offense. He's the most animated player I've ever seen, said Holland. After watching him in the outfield cry about every single thing, it's unbelievable. I don't care if he hits a home run off me. That's fine. I give up home runs. But the way he did it, I just think that's a bit much. I don't like it at all.
Derek Holland pitched Game 4 of that division series a year ago. Pretty strong words after the fact.
Gave up 6 runs in 2 innings in Game 4. Breaking ball catches the outside corner with the knees. Bautista had an RBI single last night, but is still just 3 for his last 28. He's hitting .222 on the season. Rangers up 1-0, but the Blue Jays threatening early off Holland.
Bautista's response to the quote from Holland was, you know what, I don't care what he says, I just play my game, and he can think what he wants to think, and he really handled it in a first-class manner, not wanting to get into a back and forth with Holland.
That one is going to squirt through the legs of the catcher Holiday, and the runners will advance.
Yeah, that's a ball the catcher's got to block. It's a breaking ball right at your feet. All you got to do is go down and put that glove in the 5-hole and go to your knees, and you should be able to block it. Not that difficult. We saw one get away from Russell Martin, but it hit well in front of home plate, and this is a much easier ball. You see, he just never got the glove down to fill up that 5-hole.
It is a wild pitch charged to Holland. The Rangers this early in the game will play the infield back. They'll give up a run and a ground ball. 2-1 the count on Bautista. Down and in, ball 3. Edwin Encarnacion, who hit the big 2-run home run in the 6th inning last night for the Blue Jays, looms on deck. (3-1) Foul ball.
Don't you get the sense that the Blue Jays are starting to get their swagger back? Couple walks here, couple hits there, the home run last night, and all of a sudden everything's starting to look right again with the Blue Jays lineup.
They found a way to win games the last couple of nights where they trailed most of the game each time. A win tonight gets them back to the 500 mark. They're 14-15. The last time they were at 500, they were 10-10. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. For Edwin Encarnacion.
Last night with a man on and 2 outs, the Blue Jays were down by 2, no longer as this ball goes into the 2nd net. It was his 3rd home run of the season, his 1st home run in the month of May. And as we mentioned last night, since 2013, no one has hit more home runs in the month of May than Edwin Encarnacion. He has 31.
He owns 9 career grand slams. The pitch. He drives it right center field deep, and it's up against the wall on a bounce. 2 runs are home. Bautista's on his way home and will score without a throw. A 3-run double for Encarnacion, and it's 3-1 Blue Jays.
Now this looks right once again. Single, single, walk, 3-run double. Edwin with the 2-run home run last night. This is a beautiful swing right here. Ball is out over the plate, not thinking about the grand slam, just thinking about cashing in at least one of these. And because he hits it to the wall in right center, he picks up all 3.
And Holland still has not recorded an out. And now he's officially given up his first runs ever at Rogers Center. As we told you, came in with a 16 1/3 scoreless innings here. He's given up 3 already, doesn't have an out as he starts Justin Smoke with a strike.
Well, Bautista continues to get those big walks to put Encarnacion in the RBI situations. He did it with 2 outs in last night's game to bring the tying run to the plate.
Bautista leading the American League in walks. It all got started with Pilar and his base hit. The batter Justin Smoke, who from the left side of the plate, and the 2 big home runs on Tuesday night to tie it in the 9th, win it in the 10th. Look at the on-base percentage, .426. Was walking early even when he wasn't hitting. Now he has started to hit. High fly ball, right center field. Mazara will make the catch on the edge of the track. Encarnacion can tag and go to third.
Well, when you look at this inning, all of the at-bats have been very good. Pilar fights off an inside pitch to get the single. Donaldson goes to center for a single. Bautista walks. Edwin clears the bases. And now Smoke has a good at-bat to move Encarnacion from second to third and set the table for Tulowitzki.
And now down 3-1. Jeff Bannister will bring the infield in here in the first inning. Tulowitzki 0 for his last 20 against left-handed pitching, hitting .160 overall on the season. Looking for a fly ball deep enough to bring Encarnacion home. Takes a fastball for a strike. He has always been a patient hitter. And he has taken a lot of first pitch strikes over this time here in the last few weeks where he has been struggling. Back to the mound. Holland will look the runner back and throw out Tulowitzki, 2 down. So now it'll be Russell Martin, who drove in the game-winning run last night. And then had his jersey shredded after the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the significance of doing that, but that's the way they celebrate nowadays. So Russell's starting to use the whole field, and that's really played in his favor lately. His average still under 200. But that RBI number 5 was a big one last night.
Up the middle, a base hit. And another RBI for Martin in to score Encarnacion, and it's 4-1.
Boy, that's a big boost for Tulowitzki, too, to get that runner in from third, and Russell picks him up. And this is a beautiful swing right back up the middle, past Holland into center. There are a lot of hits in the middle of the diamond, and Russell's starting to creep up on 200.
And Doug Brocail, the pitching coach, is out to the mound. 4 runs on 4 hits for the Blue Jays here in the first inning. The big hit by Edwin Encarnacion, the 3-run booming double to deep right center field. They haven't had many innings like this. This kind of thing was commonplace last year.
Yeah, this was something you expected every time they came to the plate. And Jeff Bannister has tremendous respect for this Blue Jays lineup. And all of a sudden, it's starting to look like a Blue Jays lineup.
Here's Darwin Barney, the second baseman, getting a start because the left-hander Holland is on the mound. And he slices one into right field, a base hit. Martin avoided being hit by the ball. Now he slips as he runs around second, so he'll put the brakes on and play it safe with 2 down. The 5th hit of the inning off Derek Holland.
Russell's got to hold his ground as this ball comes towards him, and he rounds it. He knows Mazara's got a good arm. I think he kind of slid to a stop. He wasn't going to run at all. He just knew that Mazara's got too good of arm, and he had to wait till that ball went into right field before he could break for second.
So every Blue Jay now has come to the plate as Ezekiel Carrera steps in. He's getting the start in place of Michael Saunders. Carrera has really made the most of his limited opportunities this year. He's hitting .333 and even better lately, 10 for his last 24.
Both Barney and Carrera have really done a good job as extra men when called upon. They've come up with big hits.
Martin at second, Barney at first. And the pitch. Inside, ball one.
When managers are looking at matchups and trying to figure out an opportunity to give a regular rest, he'll look at the numbers, batter against pitcher, and in this situation, Saunders was 0 for 11 against Holland. So, given his history with his knee problems and the fact that he's played a lot, been on base a lot lately, you give him a night off against a guy he has not fared well against.
They're probably already thinking ahead to Clayton Kershaw on Saturday, too, whether Saunders sits, although Carrera's a left-handed batter as well. Inside. Clayton Kershaw has never faced the Toronto Blue Jays, but he will on Saturday afternoon here at Rogers Center. Kershaw is off to a typical Kershaw start. He's got an ERA under 2, and he has in 6 games 54 strikeouts and 3 walks.
Is that
3.
good?
We've got Mr. Carson crunching the numbers over to my left here, and in his mind,
that's good.
It's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah, he just gave me a thumbs up on that. Kevin Pillar maybe about to get his second at bat here in the first inning, depending on what Carrera does. Base hit center field, and Martin will come in to score. 5-1 Blue Jays.
Well, it's been a long time coming, but the Blue Jays have had a big inning. And when you think about putting up 5 runs, that's the way the Blue Jays scored. Last year, they did it a bunch of times, and it's been few and far between so far this season. They've had situations where they just haven't had that big hit, but tonight, they've had a couple of big hits in this inning.
5 runs on 6 hits, and now the bullpen looks like it's starting to get busy for the Texas Rangers. Here's Pillar for the second time. Left-hander Cesar Ramos is up in the pen.
The Blue Jays had a 6-run inning against Boston way back on the 8th of April. They've scored 4 runs in 4 different innings. This is the first time they've scored 5 runs in an inning.
One on the way. Changeup misses outside. Ball 2. The big hit, the Encarnacion, a 3-run double. An RBI singles by Martin and Carrera have given J. Happ a nice cushion here in the early going. Here's the 2-1, down and in. Ball 3. What a nightmare for Derek Holland, who came in with a 2.48 ERA. He's really pitched well in the early going. I don't know if the Rangers ever could have seen this coming.
Well, and their starters have pitched well as a unit. They're second in the American League in ERA, and their whole staff has pitched well. And they've averaged over 6 innings per start.
Colby Lewis on the right was good last night. Play on at second and back in safely is Barney.
Cole Hamels did not pitch in this start, as he pitched 5 innings on Sunday at home against the Angels.
So the Blue Jays avoid Hamels. They do get Kershaw. Sky high fly ball to shallow center field. And the first inning is over. What an inning it is, though, for the Blue Jays. They rough up Derek Holland. It all got started with Pillar. Yeah, the inning started with a base hit, moved up with a base hit by Josh Donaldson, and then after a Jose Bautista walk, Edwin Encarnacion clearing the bases with a double. It's 5-1 Jays after 1.
Center. Drew Storen is coming off 2 straight scoreless appearances. A welcome turn of events for him after a spotty start to his season. Now, Storen told me earlier that he's got to really learn the American League quickly, and that means learning the approach of the AL hitters. He told me the biggest thing about AL hitters in their ballparks is that they get to inside fastballs a bit better. It's a different game here, he said. He compared it to the NBA versus the NCAA basketball. More offensive-minded. Storen said moving to a new team, new league, meeting new battery mates, it's been like getting thrown into the deep end and having to figure things out. It's been a challenge, Dan, but Storen believes he'll be a better pitcher for it.
And there have been some signs recently, as you say, Hazel, that he is turning the corner, but the Blue Jays need him, whether it's 7th inning, 8th inning, in a prominent role near the back end of that bullpen. 5-1 Blue Jays going to the second. Happ will face Mitch Moreland, Ryan Rua, and Brian Holiday. Fastball right at the belt, right at the upper end of the strike zone, and it's 0-1 on Moreland, hitting it even .250 with 3 home runs and 12 runs driven in on the season. Blue Jays starting pitching has been the strength of the team so far, and really, I think most people would agree, a bit of a pleasant surprise, better than most people expected. The overall team ERA by the Blue Jays is 3rd in the American League at 3.58.
Yeah, that was thought to be a real weakness of this ball club from people outside, but when you watched them work in the spring, you thought they were going to be pretty good, especially when they made a decision to put Sanchez in there. The return of Jay Happ's had a lot to do with it.
Their rotation ERA is 3.53. That is 4th best in the American League, behind the White Sox, the Rangers, and the Mariners.
Well, I think it's a very good competition between the individuals that are in the rotation.
Fly ball to center field, routine for Pilar.
This Blue Jays Rogers 4K broadcast is powered by the Samsung 4K SUHD TV.
Marcus Stroman chomping at the bit, I'm sure, for his opportunity. He'll start tomorrow night in the opening game of the series against the Dodgers.
Against Kenta Maeda, the pitcher from Japan that's off to a great start, and for Stroman, opportunity to pitch against the Dodgers. And the Dodgers, of course, one of the iconic ball clubs in baseball.
Liner to third, right at Donaldson. Rua retired, 2 down.
Well, that's a hang with him for Rua. Pitching with a 4-run lead. Jay Happ knows he's got to pitch ahead and throw a lot of strikes, and Rua, he hit it hard, but watch Donaldson's reaction. Feet on the ground as that ball comes into the hitting zone, and he turns on it, but it's an easy play for Donaldson. Makes a shoulder high catch. There's so much timing involved in playing third base. You want to make sure that your feet are on the ground when that ball hits the hitting zone so you can react.
So 2 quick outs for Happ, and now Brian Holiday takes a strike. The Texas catcher tonight hitting a .154 in limited at bats on the season. Well, you love nothing better when the offense gets some runs. It's called the shutdown inning, when the pitcher comes out the next inning and doesn't let him creep back into it. Happ is 2/3 of the way to accomplishing that here in the second.
Well, if you're a pitcher and you just saw your club score 5 runs on 6 hits, you said, I want those guys to get right back up there again. It's been a long time coming for this offense, and you know, none of the pitchers have complained about it at all, but everybody knows this is an offensive minded team, and once they get those bats going, it's tough to cool them off.
2 down and the base is empty. The Blue Jays up 5-1 as the Rangers bat in the top of the second. A little bit high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think the one thing Jay has to make sure he does is just pitch. Don't pitch to the scoreboard so much. Just remember, you got to throw all your pitches, and you just can't forget about your second and third pitches. Just continue to pitch the way you have early in the season.
Got it. Change up. Swung on and missed by Holiday, and the Rangers are gone in order in the second. So Happ delivers a very crisp, clean second inning after his offense had given him a 4-run lead.
Sportsnet Jays Care broadcast auction presented by TV will take place during Sportsnet's national broadcast of the Blue Jays and the Tampa Bay Rays on May 18th. 12 unique Blue Jays experiences and packages up for bids. Visit bluejays.com/broadcast action to see a list of all prizes available. All funds will help Jays Care go beyond the ballpark for over 62,000 children and youth across Canada in 2016. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. Bottom of the second, 5-1 Blue Jays, their biggest first inning of the season, their second biggest inning at any point this season. Josh Donaldson was in the middle of it, singled and scored. He'll be followed by Jose Bautista and then Edwin Encarnacion, who had the biggest hit in the first, the 3-run double. Donaldson picking up this year right where he left off last year. Check the swing, and he takes the slow breaking ball in for a strike. 1-2. Jams him with a fastball, and it's fouled back. Derek Holland, a guy who's had a lot of injuries the last couple of seasons. Both 2014 and 2015 were cut short. 14 by a knee injury that actually he only pitched late in the season. Last year, a shoulder problem.
Yeah, the knee injury was really a difficult one because he had microfracture surgery, and it takes a long time for that to really take effect. He's 29 years old now, and the last couple of years have been injury plagued. He was originally a draft and follow guy. He was drafted out of a junior college in Alabama and signed the next May. Kind of a pattern that teams will do. They'll draft the guy in June, let him pitch the next season in junior college, and then sign him before the next June draft.
2-2 again, fouled back by Donaldson.
Donaldson always has that mindset of accelerating through the ball as it gets into the hitting zone, where he says a lot of guys will think about decelerating to make contact, but his goal is to have it 100% going through the hitting zone. So oftentimes it looks like he's really swinging harder when he misses than it does when he hits.
And he's already extended the at bat. He'll see a 9th pitch coming up. Holland is at 40 pitches already, and he does not have an out here in the second inning. There's no activity in the pen. Ramos was up in the first inning when things were really starting to get out of hand. Sat down as the inning concluded. 2-2 again. Breaking ball hit hard, hooked down the left field line. Foul.
Seven hits in his last 29 at bats, but it's coming together. He's coming up with big hits. He hit that one off the end of the bat and creates a lot of spin, and it just hooks foul, just misses that foul netting down the left field line.
So here comes pitch number 10 in the at bat. Full count.
You saw the catcher Holiday offering all 4 pitches before Holland settled on the slider, but he missed with it. Wasn't really committed to that pitch.
Popped up, foul territory on the first base side, and a lot of room for Moreland to make the catch for out number 1. So now the second matchup between Holland and Bautista. Bautista walking in the first inning. The quote that we showed, it was actually a very, very long quote. We couldn't fit all of it obviously, but Holland had said, you know, he had previously talked about Bautista a little bit here and there at a ballpark in the outfield, whatever, and he got along with him fine. But again, after game 5 of the bat flip home run, another part of that quote from Holland was, I don't like him personally. It wasn't just that he thought it was a little out of bounds. It was enough to bother him to the point where he said, I just don't like him anymore. Pop up to short, 2 down. It's amazing how differently things can be interpreted depending on which side of the fence you're on.
Exactly, and you know, when you're in that inning, it's such a dramatic inning, that entire inning, the way it unfolded, and we've talked about it a lot, how If you're a Blue Jay fan, it was the greatest inning you've ever seen. And if you were a Ranger fan, it was the worst inning you've ever seen.
2 down and the base is empty for Encarnacion. The shift is on as Odor just scampered over to the shortstop side of the bag. Edwin with a 3-run double back in the first inning, starting the scoring for the Blue Jays. The next home run for Encarnacion will tie him with George Bell for 5th on the all-time Blue Jay list. So if he can take the Parrot for a walk tonight, he'll join some company in George Bell. Encarnacion is 6th at 201. Bell's 5th at 202. Joe Carter's 4th at 203. Then you got to go a little bit further ahead before you hit Vernon Wells, Jose Bautista, and the all-time leader, Carlos Delgado. 336 home runs as a Blue Jay. Out front.
It's really interesting how they're playing Edwin here on the infield in particular. They're playing everything on the full side. 3 defenders on the third base side of second. He hit that ball in the alley to right center, but it was a different situation, obviously, with the bases loaded. But they're pitching him inside as well. See all those pitches inside? You make a mistake on the inner half of the plate, and he could be hitting one of those tying home runs.
3-2. Just in enough again that he couldn't get good wood on it. Justin Smoke on deck should the inning continue. Three-two. Breaking ball down and away. Ball 4. So the inning extended, and a base runner now for Justin Smoke as Jeff Bannister, Doug Brocail talk things over. Got to be a little concerned with the way that Holland is throwing after getting off to a good start this year. Smoke hit a fly ball to right field his first time up. In the first inning, the Blue Jays had scored 3 runs. Then Holland got 2 outs, and then the Blue Jays had 3 consecutive 2-out base hits to score 2 more runs. Off the end of the bat, a little squibber towards Odor at second, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits. There was a man left on. We're at the end of 2 at Rogers Center with the Blue Jays in front 5-1.
Fans, Saturday, it's a culmination of Leicester's storybook season. The club that began the BPL season as 5,000-to-1 underdogs will be presented the Premier League trophy following their home match versus Everton. Catch the match and trophy presentation beginning this Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time on Sportsnet 360.
One of the most probable championships in the history of professional sports. At the start of the season, there were 5,000-to-1 to win the Premier League. Unbelievable.
Top 3. And the Blue Jays up on the Rangers 5-1. Jay Happ will start Hanser Alberto with a strike. Alberto getting a start at short tonight. Elvis Andrus not on the starting lineup for the Rangers this evening. Alberto just 2 for 17 on the season, a utility infielder. And Happ sharp on that pitch right at the knees and quickly jumps out in front 0-2.
Well, Elvis Andrus has not had a good series, and he's 0 for 10 against Jay Happ. So another situation where the manager said, you know, I got to pick my spots.
Weekly hit first base side of the mound. Happ can't get it to first in time. Barney alertly backing up the play. Alberto safe at first.
Weekly hit was a very good description.
It's either that or a heck of a headwind.
That ball, it looked like it was going to stop. It's an infield hit for Hanser as he hustled down the line. Jay knew he could run, so that's why he slid to his knees and tried to make a throw, but missed to the inside of the base. And this ball is barely above his hands, more like a bunt than anything else. And he never got a good grip on the baseball and throws wide of the mark.
It scored a base hit for Alberto. Back to the top of the order now for Odor. Odor grounded out in the first inning. So the Rangers, after this series, they'll head to Detroit, where Cole Hamels will take on Jordan Zimmerman tomorrow night. Zimmerman off to a terrific start for the Tigers. Then Texas goes home to face the White Sox, and then the Blue Jays come to town again. Pretty tough 2-week stretch for Texas.
Yeah, it sure is. Everybody knows that Zimmerman's off to a great start. The White Sox are pitching very well, and then the Blue Jays come down to a ballpark where they've always hit the ball well in Arlington.
Here's the 0-2. Little bit outside, ball 1. Tigers are in Cleveland tonight. Cleveland's already got a 5-3 lead in that game. There's a swing and a miss, and Happ strikes out Odor, who's really thinking about busting that bat over his leg as he makes his way back to the dugout, but he's going to decide not to.
Well, Jay Happ is making his 177th start tonight. He's got the experience, and you look at how he has improved over the years. First time through the order, 2014 260, jumped over 300 last year, but this year it's down under 200. And Jay Happ understands now, you better come out with your good stuff in the first inning and try to get through that lineup quickly, because everybody is stacked at the top of their order. When you look at Sanchez, who had struggles in his game last night, he's made 17 career starts, and Stroman has made 30. So younger guys not really comfortable yet on how to get ready for that first inning, but these lineups are stacked heavily at the top of the order. There was a time when that leadoff man was a slap hitter, the second guy was a guy that hit the ball to the right side of the diamond, and the third guy was the best hitter. Not the case anymore.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count on Mazzara. Happ has really been locked in on the strike zone, especially on first pitches, Buck. He has started 10 of the 11 hitters he's faced tonight with a first pitch strike.
Well, you know what? I think a lot has gone into it, including the fact he's experienced now, but also the fact he's got a 3-year guaranteed contract. Financially very secure. He's confident in where he is in his pitching. He's done a great job of getting the ball on the ground, and they have just done a terrific job of pitching ahead.
Down to Smoke, to Tulowitzki for 1, back to first, double play, inning over. The 9th double play behind Jay Happ already on the season. A couple of good defenders combining to make this one look relatively easy. 3-6-3 it goes. Smoke, Tulowitzki, and back to first, and that's all for the Rangers here in the 3rd.
events this summer, the Blue Jays Baseball Academy will be hosting 14 Honda Super Camps across Canada. Learn techniques from former Blue Jays such as Roberto Alomar, Devon White, Lloyd Mosby, Jesse Barfield, and Dwayne Ward. Register now at bluejays.com/camps.
To the bottom of the third at Rogers Center, the Blue Jays with 5 runs in the first inning off Derek Holland. It's 5-1. As Tulowitzki, Martin, and Barney will come up here in the third inning. Tulowitzki grounding out back to the mound his first time up. Popped up over near the first base dugout and back out of play. Well, over the last couple of nights, a lot of signs. First, when Smoke hit a couple of home runs, he had a big contribution. Russell Martin, obviously, the last couple of games is swinging the bat a lot better. This is the question. This is the puzzle, the riddle the Blue Jays are still trying to solve. Right?
Yeah, and he's working hard at trying to sort things out. Tulowitzki, obviously, not where we would expect him to be, batting .158. But I think it just, once again, it reflects how tough it is to hit in the major leagues. And even good players are going to go through ups and downs, and you have an opportunity to try to sort things out. You talk to a lot of the hitting coaches. You look at old video. You see what you were doing when you were really swinging the bats well.
1-2. Lays off the up and in fastball. Tulowitzki's a .297 career hitter. 2 years ago with Colorado, he hit .340. Now, Colorado inflates numbers. Everybody understands that. He hit .300 last year as a Rocky before the trade to Toronto. On the appeal, he didn't go, and the count is full.
Yeah, when you look at his career numbers, he's always been a very good offensive player. Not a very good hitting shortstop, a very good offensive player. Ranking up there in batting average and runs driven in and home runs. He's just really scratching his head as to what's going to get him turned around.
Well, there's a base hit into left field.
Well, that's one of the best swings we have seen on a high pitch. He got up on top of that pitch and kind of tomahawked it into left.
Maybe getting somebody else's bat will help your luck every now and again.
You know what? And I'm sure he's tried several different bats. Grab a bat, just see if you can't get something going for you. But Michael Saunders' bat delivers a hit. And the one thing, it was a much better swing, and it's been a timing issue with him. It just can't get that barrel out. But that was a very good swing on a high pitch that he's been popping up recently.
Here's Russell Martin. After picking up the game-winning hit last night, Martin picked up where he left off in the first inning tonight with an RBI single into center field. So with one guy, it's try somebody else's bat. With another guy, it's shave off my beard and just leave the mustache there. You do whatever you think might help.
Yeah, isn't it funny when ball players say, well, I'm not superstitious. Well, then why'd you shave your beard? I think it's great. And you know what? And Troy, when you're in one of these batting things, you pick up a bat and all of a sudden it just feels good. Your bat doesn't feel good. It feels like it's top heavy. It just doesn't fit good in your hand. And you're always searching.
Deep center field. Desmond hauls it in right in front of the fence. Tulowitzki gone all the way to second and now heads back to first.
It's time to convert your big outdoor tasks into short, effortless work. Make the great outdoors even greater with Honda Power Equipment.
One down in the bottom of the third, 5-1 Blue Jays. Runner at first, Troy Tulowitzki, and Darwin Barney will step in now.
You know, you talk about great hitters and how superstitious they are. They like their bats. Some guys don't want anybody to touch their bats. But a guy like Manny Ramirez, he'd grab a bat out of the bat rack, not even knowing whose it was.
And then at the other end of the spectrum, you have the late great Tony Gwynn, who would get a shipment of bats and say, how many bats come in a box?
12.
12. You get a dozen bats in a box, and if one of them was an eighth of an ounce off from the other 11, he could feel it.
Yeah.
He could feel it when he took it out of the box, and he would discard that bat. Boy, could he hit.
Ted Williams was a guy that used to get a shipment of bats and get the scale from the postage department from the mailroom in Boston and weigh all of his bats, and if they were a half an ounce off, he would just throw it away. I mean, he was that particular about his bats.
Were you?
Equipment man in Kansas City said, I'm not even ordering you any bats.
Yeah. The ones that Brett throws away because they're half an ounce off, you use those.
Just carry it up there so you got something in your hand while you're there.
1-1 and a swing and a ground ball left side off the glove of Beltre into left field. And everybody is safe.
I think they should give that a hit. It was going to take exceptional effort for Beltre to make the play. He's a 4-time Gold Glover. Watch how far he has to go to his left. And this is just off the edge of his glove. He didn't make contact, and then obviously once he deflects it a bit, Alberto has no chance. But I guess I'm not a scorekeeper.
That's the first error charged to Adrian Beltre this season.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, you got a Gold Glover down there at third, and he can't get to it. Just tipped it off his glove, and it takes exceptional effort. That's a base hit.
Darwin Barney would take the base hit.
Well, I mean, that's a base hit. I just don't agree with that.
Here's Ezekiel Carrera, had an RBI single and a looper over the head of the shortstop Alberto back in the first inning. You know, you think back to the spring and all of the different players who were vying for that fourth outfielder spot on the Blue Jays, and it could have gone a number of different ways, but Carrera's really made the most of it.
Junior Lake, Dominic Brown. He just had a lot of guys competing.
Bouncing ball. Moreland flags it down, and everybody's safe again.
I would have to say the worm has turned.
Yes.
Steve Buechele, the bench coach, checking with their video coordinators, see whether or not they want to challenge that call on the field. But Moreland got so deep, he had to retreat to catch this ball, and look at how his body is angled away from second. He looks at second, has no play there, and by the time he turns and finds Holland, Carrera is already on the bag at first.
Infield hit for Carrera, so he's 2 for 2. And the bases are loaded for the Blue Jays with just one out, and Kevin Pillar is getting his third at bat of the game, and it's coming here in the third inning. Singleton scored in the first and then flied out in the first to end the inning. But the Blue Jays sent 10 men to the plate and scored 5 times. Changeup for a strike. 0-1. Down the left field line, off the base of the wall. 2 runs are going to score on a double by Pillar.
Kevin Pillar getting good pitches. We mentioned he's relaxed at the plate, starting to feel comfortable. That's his 8th double, a 2-run double with 1 out here in the third. He's already 2 for 3. He scored a run and driven in 2. That's a hanging breaking ball. Doesn't get down and in effectively, and he hammers it all the way to the wall in left field, and that's going to chase home 2 Blue Jays. RBIs number 8 and 9 for Pillar, and it's a 7-1 ball game.
And Buck, you will be pleased to know there has been a scoring change, and the air has been taken away from Beltre, and Darwin Barney's now got himself a base hit.
Yeah, that's the right call. It was never an error in my mind.
Ramos is up for the 2nd time tonight already. 7 runs already for the Blue Jays, and now with a scoring change on 10 hits. And a chance for more damage. 2nd and 3rd, just 1 out, and the batter is Josh Donaldson. Donaldson, Singleton scored in the first, popped up in the 2nd. Infield is in for Texas. Beltre back a little bit further on the pull side of the field at third base. That's because he's got a pretty good idea if Donaldson hits the ball down to him, it's probably coming at him pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be a shot to third. Obviously the roughest outing for Holland this season.
Ball 2.
3 runs the most he had allowed in his previous 5 starts.
Threw him a 2-0 changeup. Tried to get the outside corner, missed it. He's fallen behind 3-0.
Now they're going to put him on. Bautista's next, and if baseball doesn't reflect life, Holland, he might not pitch to him, but Bautista is going to come to the plate with the bases loaded.
A walk and a pop-up for Bautista so far. We showed you the quote from Derek Holland that he expressed after the Game 5 home run last October. Did not care at all for the bat flip and the emotion shown by Bautista, and did not mince his words at all. Bautista with a chance to answer back with his bat. Off the chest of Beltre, and they're going to get just the 1 out at third base. That'll be, as of now, a fielder's choice and an RBI for Bautista, and it's 8-1.
Boy, hit it hard right to Beltre, and the Gold Glover knocked it down, and all they get is the force out at third. Bautista picks up another RBI. That gives him 20 for the season.
So a 5-run inning and a 3-run inning already in this game for the Blue Jays. And some ugly numbers for Derek Holland tonight. Here's Encarnacion, who contributed to some of those ugly numbers from Holland's perspective with a 3-run double in the first. High drive, deep left center field. Home run, Encarnacion. Blown it open here in the third.
Well, we told you things are starting to turn around, and you could see it in that first inning. How things were looking brighter for the Blue Jays, and what a big night for the hitters. This has been a long time coming, but totally not unexpected. It was just a matter of time. So Encarnacion now with 202 career home runs as a Blue Jays, tied George Bell for 5th on the franchise home run leaderboard. He also has 6 RBIs tonight. That's the second time in his career he's driven in 6. His career high is 9. Of course, he had that 3-homer game last year against the Tigers.
The end of the line for Derek Holland, and nothing but smiles right now on the Blue Jays side of the field. Their highest scoring game of the season, and it's the 3rd inning. Cesar Ramos is on in relief. It's 11-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 3rd here at Rogers Center.
Will be signing copies of his new book, Change Up. That's tomorrow from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. J Shop CF, Toronto Eaton Center, Level 1.
So be there.
11 earned runs given up by Derek Holland. That's the most given up in a game this season by a pitcher. The highest total prior to tonight was 8. And there have been 7 pitchers that have given up 8 earned runs in a game, but nobody's come close to 11.
Cesar Ramos comes in out of the Texas pen. Justin Smoke lifts a fly ball to right field to end the inning. But the Blue Jays score 6 more runs here this inning and lead the Rangers 11-1 at the end of 3. Here comes the ultimate cleanup crew, brought to you by Home Hardware's exclusive line of the ultimate hard-hitting and tough-on-grime cleaning products.
Sportsnet is providing fans with the opportunity to win a trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. We're giving away a pair of tickets, including flights and accommodation inside every series of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The more you watch, the more chances to win. Capture the cup with Sportsnet. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. What a night so far for Blue Jays hitters. 11 runs on 11 hits through 3 innings. Edwin Encarnacion has doubled, homered, and driven in 6. Derek Holland has the look of a man whose ERA was at 2.48 an hour ago and is at 5.40 now. And again, to go back to a point or a fact we mentioned earlier, he had never given up an earned run in this ballpark before. 16 1/3 innings, had never given up a run, and he gave up 11 tonight.
In 2 2/3.
Crazy sport.
Yep, it sure is. You can never figure it out. The Blue Jays have had a 5-run inning and a 6-run inning. Second time this season they've scored 6 runs in an inning.
Here's the 0-2 from Happ to Beltre. Runs inside at the knees. Beltre reached on a fielder's choice and scored the Rangers run of the night back in the top of the first. Seems like a long time ago when Texas took that 1-0 lead. Ground ball to short. Tulowitzki to his right. 1 down.
Save during the Lawn and Garden Expert Sale. Only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Nice crowd tonight at Rogers Center, and they're enjoying themselves. The Blue Jays have broken out offensively. The kind of night fans have been waiting for ever since the season began, really.
Yeah, this is the type of game the Jays fans became used to in the second half of the season last year when they put up crooked numbers multiple times in the course of a ball game.
Prince fielded with the RBI single back in the first, a liner in the left center. Well, think back to how this series began. The Blue Jays losing the first game when Mazzara hit the home run off Gavin Floyd in the 8th inning, and then Mazzara threw out Michael Saunders at the plate. A 2-1 Texas win. As fielder sends a high fly ball to center field. It is deep but playable for Pilar. 2 down. And then in the second game, Odor homered to lead off the ball game, and the Blue Jays didn't score until the 9th. So in the 9th inning of game 2, it looked like the Blue Jays would lose again and would be 4 games under 500. They found a way to win Tuesday. They trailed most of Wednesday, but found a way to win last night as well. And now with this commanding lead, they seem to be on their way back to the 500 mark.
Yeah, and that's the first plateau for this ball club. Get to 500 and then figure out where you're at. Start of play tonight. They're only 3 games back of the front-running Red Sox. So as poorly as the season has begun for John Gibbons and the Blue Jays, things are starting to look brighter.
Red Sox got a run in the top of the first in Chicago. The Red Sox and the White Sox in a series. Dustin Pedroia has homered for Boston, his 4th of the season. The Yankees and Orioles are scoreless in the bottom of the 5th at Camden Yards. Here's the 2-0 to Ian Desmond.
I don't think the Blue Jays need to worry about anybody in their division except the Blue Jays. If they play the way they should play, and if they play up to their capabilities, I think they have the best team in the division. And I know there's concerns about the bullpen, but I think the bullpen's going to sort itself out. They've got that anchor down there in Roberto Osuna.
Desmond sends a fly ball toward the left field corner. A long run for Carrera, and it's in and out of his glove as he bumps up against the fence. And Desmond glides into second.
Carrera got to that ball, but he had 2 walls to think about. The wall in foul territory and then the left field fence, and the ball was taking him right into that corner. Kind of slows down here and watch the ball actually hit off his glove. He looked in it momentarily, thought he had caught it, but it pops loose.
So a double for Desmond to keep the inning alive, and that'll bring up Mitch Moreland. Retired on a fly ball to center field his first time up. Blue Jays put the shift on again. Barney way out onto the outfield grass in shallow right. Donaldson close enough to third that he could try to win a foot race, would be able to win a foot race if Desmond took off. Blocked by Martin. And a ground ball to the right side. Tulowitzki ranging across in front of Barney to make the play and end the inning. No runs, a 2-out double, a man left. It's going to the bottom of the 4th at Rogers Center with the Blue Jays in command.
MasterCard Memorial Cup continues with Game 1 of the WHL Final between the Seattle Thunderbirds and the Brandon Wheat Kings. Join RJ Broadhead, Sam Cosentino, and Rob Faulds for all the action. That's Friday at 8 Eastern on Sportsnet 360.
Hazel, thank you. To the bottom of the fourth here at Rogers Center. And the Blue Jay Bats, if you're just joining us, have broken out big time tonight, up 11-1. Edwin Encarnacion driving in more than half of the runs all by himself. 6 RBIs for Encarnacion, including another home run. His second in as many nights. Tulowitzki has grounded out and had a base hit. Ground ball to short. Knocked down, picked up by Alberto, and he'll make the play for out number 1.
Well, we certainly want to send our thoughts and prayers to all those people in Alberta affected by the Fort McMurray fire. It's a tremendous disaster, and we want to let everybody know that everybody here with the Rogers family and the Blue Jays family thinking about all of you people that are suffering out in Alberta. And Rogers has done a great job to partner with Red Cross, pledging a donation of $100,000 toward recovery efforts. And I know Dan and I both want to send our thoughts and prayers to all of those who are suffering the largest evacuation in a fire-related disaster in Alberta history, as 80,000 people have been relocated. But if you want to text Red Cross at 45678, you can make a $10 donation. But we're all thinking about you, and
absolutely.
Hopefully you'll all get through it.
Martin hits one off the end of the bat into shallow center. Kind of a dying quail that dropped it in front of Desmond, and you could see Desmond was caught in between. Do I go for it? And uh-oh, it could bounce over my head if I do.
Yeah, and that's a tough play for a seasoned center fielder. And Desmond's playing center for just the 6th time in his career. He sees the path of the bat. It's a mighty swing, but the ball was hit off the end of the bat, and that's the hardest play for any center fielder to make, to judge whether or not it was squared up or it's a little flare into center. And Russell's got his 2nd hit of the night.
Now Darwin Barney, 2 for 2 after the scoring change in his last at bat. Ramos in with a strike, 0-1. Barney, another guy, just solid and steady and dependable. He might play 3 times a week. He might not play for a week, but he has delivered whenever he's gotten the opportunity. Popped up down the right field line. Odor racing out into foul territory, cannot get there in time.
When you put your team together, especially a team like John Gibbons Blue Jays, you look at your regulars and say, okay, are there guys I'm going to pinch hit for? Well, certainly not on this Blue Jays team. You're not going to do it very often. So when you think about putting your bench together, they have to be first and foremost good defensive players. Guys that aren't going to cost you games when you put them in a game or give them a spot start here and there. Of course, Gowen's a terrific defender. Totally catches Dickey, and Barney's been terrific. Plays all 3 of the infield positions outside of first. And as a manager, you just want to know what you have on your bench, and you put Barney in or you put Goins in, you start them at 3rd, short, or 2nd. You know they're not going to cost you a game. They might not win many, but they certainly aren't going to lose you any games.
1-2 the count on Barney. Runner at first, 1 out. Ground ball to short, could be 2, and it is to end the inning. No runs, a base hit, nobody left. 11-1 Blue Jays at the end of 4. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn from the Samsung broadcast studio.
Green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests of TD who have received an in-stadium seat upgrade. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, we welcome fans from the Ability Center. Enjoy the ball game.
And how can they not tonight? It's 11-1 for the Blue Jays going to the top of the 5th inning. 5 in the first, 6 in the third, all 11 earned, all charged to Derek Holland. As the Rangers now come up here in the 5th inning. Rua, Holiday, and Alberto, the 7, 8, 9 hitters for Texas, against Jay Happ. Through 4 innings, Happ's given up a run on 4 hits. He has not walked a batter. He's got a couple of strikeouts. When the Blue Jays take on the Dodgers tomorrow night, as Buck mentioned earlier, Kenta Maeda will be on the mound tomorrow night for LA. Marcus Stroman will get the start for the Blue Jays. Saturday, Clayton Kershaw will face the Blue Jays for the first time in his career. R.A. Dickey on the mound for Toronto, and then Ross Stripling. If that name sounds familiar, he was the rookie who in his major league debut took a no-hitter into the 8th inning, reached 100 pitches with 1 out, I believe, in the 8th inning, and Dave Roberts took him out. And I think just about everybody agrees absolutely the right thing to do. 0-2, and it's fouled off. So Stripling will be on the mound for the Dodgers. They got a ton of injured pitchers, and Stripling came out of nowhere to win the 5th spot on the rotation. Marco Estrada will pitch for the Jays on Sunday.
Marco Estrada grew up in Southern California, so you know it's going to be a special outing for him to pitch once again against the Dodgers.
Swing and a miss. Rua strikes out.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Rogers 4K TV. Get closer to the action with 4 times the resolution of HD alone.
Here's Brian Holiday, struck out his first time. Well, speaking of the Dodgers, they had an off day in the city today. They were down in Tampa Bay and they flew up last night. So what do you do when you've got an off day? Well, if you're Yasiel Puig or Adriana Gonzalez, you get out on Lake Ontario, you go do some fishing.
Yeah, you sure do. And they got out there and got some nice fish, big salmon. And, you know, obviously it's a big lake. Hey, they fish in that lake? Of course they fish in that lake. Yasiel Puig, he grew up on an island, so he knows all about fishing from Cuba.
A chance for Jays fans to come out to Rogers Center and see Puig in person, see Kershaw. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is a once-in-a-generation kind of pitcher. There have been some great pitchers in the last 15 or 20 years, but Clayton Kershaw has won 3 Cy Young Awards and 4 ERA titles.
Yeah, when you look at what he has done, and last year he struck out 301 batters in an era where people don't even think about 300 strikeouts. A dominant pitcher, terrific defender, good hitter.
Yep.
They won a 1-0 game the other day. He drove in the only run.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Happ. We'll be on tomorrow night with a pregame show at 6:30. First pitch just after 7 o'clock here Eastern Time in Toronto. Marcus Stroman on the mound for the Blue Jays and Kenta Maeda for the Dodgers in the first game of a 3-game weekend series.
I spoke to Colby Lewis today about Kenta Maeda, and they were teammates in Hiroshima for 2 years, and I'll tell you more about that a little later on.
Alberto flies out and the inning is over.
fans, the exciting May matchups continue starting tomorrow as the LA Dodgers come to town. Then it's a steady diet of AL East opponents from May 16th to the 18th. It's the Tampa Bay Rays, followed by the Boston Red Sox, and from May 30th to June 1st, the New York Yankees.
All right, Hazel, thank you. The White Sox have tied it up with the Red Sox. Chicago got a run in the bottom of the first, so it's 1-1 at the end of an inning there. The Yankees and Orioles are still scoreless, Buck. They are into the 6th inning, the bottom of the 6th inning right now. Still scoreless. Masahiro Tanaka, who's been really good for the Yankees, and Kevin Gausman trading zeros right now in Baltimore.
Kevin Gausman, 2 hits, no walks, and 3 strikeouts through 6 innings, and that's the guy they've been waiting on for a while. Finally healthy. He started out the season on the DL. Chris Tillman's throwing the ball very well for Baltimore. Got an ERA right about 2.5.
1-1 to Ezekiel Carrera. At the top end of the strike zone, 1 and 2. Carrera's got 2 base hits tonight, an RBI single to center in the first, and then an infield hit. It was gloved by Mitch Moreland, who looked to second, then spun through to first, but Holland wasn't there in time. And credited with an infield hit was Carrera. Tampa Bay, by the way, they're off. Some teams not playing tonight. The Rays are not in action tonight. Blue Jays have been in action ever since the bottom of the first. They got 5 in the first. They got 6 more in the third. 2 of the 3 biggest innings they have had this season have come tonight. Gives you a pretty good at bat, Carrera.
Yes, he does. And, you know, he bounced around a little bit. He actually came up with Cleveland in 2001. Spent a couple of years there and then went to Philadelphia for 13 games, came back to Cleveland.
Moreland. And Ramos caught it in his bare hand because the throw was behind him. Good job to record the out.
A terrific play as Moreland's throw was behind Ramos, but he was able to grab it with his bare hand. And you try to lead these pitchers and you practice this endlessly in spring training, but look at the athletic effort by Cesar Ramos to retire Carrera. It's Moreland is very appreciative of this effort, barehanded grab, and he still has the presence of mind to step on the bag ahead of Carrera.
So 1 down in the inning, and back to the top of the order now for Kevin Pillar, his 4th at bat of the night already. And it's been a good night for Pillar. Singled and scored in the first, then flied out to end the first, and then hit a ringing double into the left field corner, driving in a couple of runs in the third. That's a fair ball with a little English down the line. It's another double for Pillar, his 2nd double and 3rd hit of the night.
When you have a good approach, good things happen. And Kevin says he was really pressing early in the season. He wanted to prove that he could hit in the leadoff spot. This ball is cued right off the end of the bat. The English takes it away from Moreland, and Pillar is headed for second with his 2nd double of the night. But Kevin got some advice from Jose Bautista in the outfield during the Oakland series. Jose said, man, would you relax, let the ball come to you, trust your swing. You've got a good swing and you're going to hit. So he said he went up that night against Sonny Gray, relaxed, got beat by a pitch, but singled into right, and that got him started.
Here's Josh Donaldson. Donaldson has singled and scored, popped up, and then been intentionally walked and scored. 11 runs on 13 hits for the Blue Jays, 1 run on 4 hits for the Rangers. A look back, and now the 0-1. Curveball taken low, a ball and a strike. Ramos sets and deals, and Donaldson hits a high fly ball to center field. Backpedaling Desmond, he's got room. Tagging at second is Pillar, and into third relatively easily now with 2 down.
Well, I mentioned Kevin Pillar taking the advice from Bautista, and he's now hitting .300 as they put it up on the scoreboard when they show that lineup. But he is really starting to swing the bat well. Remember, Kevin Pillar hit .322 in the minors over his career. He's always been a good hitter.
He's at third with 2 down, and the batter is Jose Bautista. 0 for 2 tonight. Has scored twice, though, and has driven in a run as well. He has walked, popped up, and reached on a fielder's choice. Lays off outside, ball 1. The previous high this year for the Blue Jays was 9 runs in a game. They topped that in the 3rd inning tonight. Down low, ball 2.
Yeah, everybody was panicking, and there's some hitters in the lineup that were pressing a bit, but sooner or later, if you got a track record, you're going to hit somewhere around what you have in the past. And these guys are starting to swing the bats the way we expected them to swing. I think the Blue Jay hitters themselves felt like they were just going to pick it up right where they left off in October.
Ground ball to first, and that's going to end the inning. The runner left on to third. We're at the end of 5 at Rogers Center. 11-1 Blue Jays. Telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. There's some laughing. There's some. It's like everybody exhaled. They finally got a chance to exhale after the numbers the Blue Jays have put up tonight.
Yeah, and it took 30 games for them to come around. This is the 30th game of the season, and they should be able to move into 500, 15-15. But you're right. There's just been a little edge of tension around this club, and now things look much more relaxed.
Top of the order for the Rangers in the 6th, Odor, Mazzara, and Beltre. Ground ball to second. 1 down. Meanwhile, Jay Happ, the offense is the headline, but Jay Happ cruising along. A very efficient outing so far.
Yeah, he sure is, and he continues to make good quality pitches. He's used his changeup effectively, using the 2-seam fastball. He gave up a run on 2 hits in the first, and then had a 1-2-3 second, and just kind of got into the rhythm and tempo of this game, just like he has all season long.
Mazzara, a base hit, and he's grounded into a double play as he takes outside ball 1. This is still a very good Texas team, and 2 hard-fought victories for the Blue Jays the last couple of nights after a tough loss in the first game. But to take 3 out of 4 from a team of this quality is nothing to dismiss.
No, not at all, especially the way they were swinging the bats at the start of this series. To have 2 walk-off wins, 1 in extra innings, and then come out and put up a 5 spot in the first. Everything seems kind of normal once again.
Outside ball 2, 2-1.
Dan, you mentioned Jay Happ and what a great run he has been on going back to last August. Only Arrieta and Clayton Kershaw have a better ERA than Jay Happ over that time frame.
That's some pretty solid company. Little flare is going to drop in for a base hit in left field.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Sixth inning at Rogers Center, all Blue Jays up 11-1. Texas has a man at first with a 1 out for Adrian Beltre, who's 0 for 2 tonight. Still errorless on the season after the scoring change. He was originally charged with an error on a ball off the bat of Darwin Barney. It was later changed to a base hit. If I'm Jay Happ, I think I'm taking that fact you just gave. I'm finding wherever it was you found it. Arrieta, Kershaw, and me if I'm Jay Happ. Yeah. And I'm blowing it up and I'm framing it and I'm putting it on my wall.
Yeah, that's going to stay in your mind forever.
Yep. Right center field. Pilar calling for it, makes the catch, 2 down.
For some reason, left-handers seem to take a little bit longer to get everything together. Jay's 6'6". He's a tall guy. There's a lot of moving parts to his delivery. He came up first with the Phillies as he was a draft pick and signed with the Phillies. But you can think back to a number of left-handers, and of course Dodger great left-hander Sandy Koufax took some time to get it together.
Prince Fielder with a bullet into center field, his second hit of the night. Randy Johnson maybe the tallest and best example of a lefty who took it a while. He led the league in walks a couple of times as a young pitcher until he really harnessed his command.
Right past the glove of Jay Happ into center field, and it's a hot shot. Swiped at it, but it was past him before he could really react.
And Russell Martin will take this opportunity to head out to the mound, talk with Happy, and Desmond is the batter. Nobody's ever had a real theory for why lefties take a little bit longer to figure it out, do they?
No, I don't think so. But when you think about it, and Jamie Moyer comes to mind, he was one of those guys that really put it together later on in his career, 29, 30, and then he pitched into his 40s. And just something clicks. But right now, Jay Happ is in the best stretch he has enjoyed throughout his major league career.
11 outstanding starts with Pittsburgh after the trade from Seattle last year. Chopper out to second. Barney on to first, and the inning is over. A couple of base hits, but no damage done. To the bottom of the 6th at Rogers Center. The man of the night for the Blue Jays, Edwin Encarnacion, will lead it off when we come back. Game is brought to you by all new Honda Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Well, the big man tonight has been Edwin Encarnacion. He cleared the bases with a 3-run double in the first and connects for a 3-run home run in the third. For Encarnacion, 6 RBIs. There's only one hitter in the majors that's had a bigger RBI game than Encarnacion, and that is Nolan Arenado, who had a 7 RBI game against San Francisco on the 13th of April.
You saw Delino DeShields into the game in center field, pushing Ian Desmond over to left. Ryan Rua from left to third. All of this because Adrian Beltre is now out of the game with this big lead for the Blue Jays. Jeff Bannister will rest him, and Encarnacion continues to pound the baseball. It's his 3rd extra base hit of the night.
Edwin loves May. We mentioned he had a 16 home run May in 2014. He hit the game-tying home run in last night's game, and he has gotten off to a great start tonight. Pair of doubles and a home run, and this is another bullet. And he is one of those guys that when he gets hot, it takes him about 3-4 weeks to cool off. That's a great sign for the Jays.
Here's Justin Smoke. He'd love to get in on the action. Everybody else has been a part of it on some level tonight, but Smoke is 0 for 3. 7 of the 9 Blue Jays have a hit in this game. 8 of the 9 of them have scored a run.
Smoke did his part on Tuesday night.
Sure did.
He went 3 for 5 with 2 homers, including the game winner.
Alberto will make the play for out number 1. Now Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki tonight 1 for 3, had a base hit and scored back in the 3rd when the Blue Jays scored 6 runs. You know, that 3rd inning as well, Tulowitzki began the inning with a base hit, then Martin flied out, and they just kept stringing hits together. They've got 6 hits tonight with a runner in scoring position. That's a season high. Pilar with a big 2-run double that inning, and then Encarnacion with the capper, the 3-run homer.
It's the 3rd time this season Blue Jays have hit 14 hits in a ball game, so it's a season high for a 3rd time.
Tulowitzki waiting patiently. Ramos taking a long time to gather in the sign from Holiday. And the 1-0. Strike 1-1. Ramos taking over for Derek Holland in the 3rd inning. After Holland went 2 2/3, gave up 11 runs, all earned. Ramos has been a Padre, a Ray, and an Angel. Good block there by Holiday.
And he's also played at Long Beach State with Troy Tulowitzki, part of those great teams they had at Long Beach State. He was there with Jared Weaver and Jason Vargas making up their rotation in 2004. That was a pretty good team. You have those guys and then have Tulowitzki and Longoria.
The 2-1. And a 2-hopper to short. Another play for Alberto. High throw, but Moreland stays with it for out number 2. Ramos kind of living away from these right-handed batters, throwing everything to the outside part of the plate. He's gotten a couple of ground balls, though, to the pull side from Smoke and Tulowitzki. And now here's Russell Martin having another good night. 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Blue Jays have talked in the last few days about how the neck spasms he was feeling earlier, that those have gone. Martin himself has talked about how good he feels behind the plate, on the bases. He said his body feels good. He doesn't feel worn down at all. And the stroke has come together in the last couple of days. Both of the base hits up the middle tonight as well.
Well, and these are the types of games where you got two, you want three, just to really get locked in at the plate. And he's seeing the ball very well, obviously, by his ability to hit it up the middle into the right side. So this is where you got to get greedy.
And a ground ball to third. And eventually the inning is over. Moreland making a couple of good plays this inning. The leadoff double is stranded. And we're at the end of 6 at Rogers Center with the Blue Jays still up 11-1.
The WestJet Blue Jays Flyaway Contest is now on. Enter for your chance to cheer on your Blue Jays in Boston with WestJet. Go to bluejays.com/WestJetFlyaway to enter. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. 11-1, the Blue Jays lead as we move to the top of the 7th inning. Happ still on the mound for Toronto. He's only thrown 75 pitches through 6 innings, 52 of them for strikes. He's given up 6 hits. He has not walked a batter. He's had a double play turned behind him. And he'll face 6, 7, and 8, Moreland, Rua, and Holiday here in the 7th inning.
This is one thing the starters have done very effectively for the Blue Jays, is pitch deep into the games. They've done a great job. They're first in the American League in innings per start. And it just helps out the bullpen so much when you only have to give an inning, maybe 2 innings in a ball game.
Just low for ball 2. Also gives them an opportunity to not use guys like Osuna or Storen tonight, heading into the Dodgers series tomorrow.
Blue Jays won't have an off day till next Thursday. They'll play the Dodgers over the weekend and go to San Francisco Monday, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon. So you just want to keep those arms down in the bullpen as fresh as possible.
Texas got caught short last night because guys like Dyson and Tollison had been pitching a lot, so they brought in Barnett, a rookie, albeit a 32-year-old rookie, but a rookie to pitch in extra innings, and he suffered the loss last night. Swing and a miss as Happ battles back to strike out Moreland. This is the kind of game when you would hear Blue Jay fans talk about the team during spring training, and they would say, well, you can do this every now and again, because they'll have a couple of blowouts every week, because it was almost like it was taken for granted that these games would happen as frequently this year as they did last year.
Yeah, and every team, we talked about this, every team develops their own personality each year. And they just weren't going to pick up where they left off. You know, Tulowitzki wasn't here at the start of the season last year. Goins wasn't playing second base. Pilar started out in left field last year. Every team has to develop its own personality at the start of each season, and I think it's taken the Blue Jays. This is the 30th game now, and this is what we kind of expected from them.
A little bit inside to Rua, who has moved from left field to third base. He's lined out and struck out. 0 for 2 on the night. The count 2-0. And a ground ball weakly hit toward third. Barehanded Donaldson. He got him.
I don't remember a third baseman making as many of these barehanded plays as Josh Donaldson has made the last 2 years. You saw how he got an angle on that ball, played it off to the side, and got a real good look at that bouncing ball, anticipating he's going to get one that spins. But as he grabs it, he rotates the ball to get a little grip on it and fires a strike. What a good play.
So 2 down, bases empty. Here's Holiday. Takes low, ball 1. It's too soon to tell. Maybe if there's a chance Happ could go the distance in this game, but the pitch count pretty low and the big lead and a complete game. I know for younger fans that's like a what?
Complete
a
game.
Complete game? A complete game. That doesn't happen very much
when
anymore.
One pitcher pitches the whole game.
Yeah. How many? Don't look at the stats. Okay, don't look at the stats.
Okay.
How many complete games do you think there have been in baseball this year?
3.
You're under, actually. There have been 9.
Really? 9. That's yeah. And you know what? Early in the season, everybody's concerned about pitch counts. You get into a ball game, and you know what? And I was trying to look at the bullpen and see who needs to pitch. And really, the Blue Jays don't have anybody that really needs to pitch. I know Chad Gerardo has just been called up, but you know he might get an inning in this game. But Biagini's pitched recently. Ryan Tepera hasn't pitched in a while. He could use an inning tonight.
Yeah.
He hasn't pitched in a while, but you certainly want to keep everybody fresh as possible, looking ahead to that 3-game series against the Dodgers.
And Happ up to 88 right now, 13 this inning. So maybe 8 is more likely if he keeps pitching well than 9. But when you caught, I mean, some of the years, I think Dave Stieb had 15, 18 complete games in a season by himself a couple of those years.
Yeah, it was more the norm than nowadays, of course. And I think in 1984 was the last year the Blue Jays used a 4-man rotation. But I think now, thinking about it, Ryan Tepera will probably pitch an inning in this game. He hasn't pitched much since coming up from Buffalo.
A 2-out walk for Holiday, and here's the number 9 hitter, Hanser Alberto. There's a base hit and a fly ball. And sends one towards left center field. It will be Carrera running it down to end the inning. No runs, no hits, a man left. 7th inning stretch at Rogers Center. All Blue Jays tonight.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Hazel, thank you. You can see between innings, handshakes all around. So 7 innings will be enough for Jay Happ tonight. A very strong performance. Just a run on 6 hits. And in line for win number 4 with this comfortable Blue Jay lead. Darwin Varney busting it down the line, but thrown out for the first out of the inning. Just like hitting can be contagious, starting pitching can be contagious.
It sure is. And you know what? When you have a 5-man staff, they all compete against one another. And obviously it's a friendly competition, but Jay Happ goes 7 tonight. Stroman, he has been great. He's got 7 on his mind at least. And that really sets up the bullpen very effectively when your starters pitch so deep into ball games.
Cesar Ramos still on the mound for Texas as the Blue Jays bat in the bottom of the 7th. He came on in the 3rd when Holland left the game. Ezekiel Carrera 2 for 3, a run scored and an RBI. In the bullpen, left-hander Chad Gerardo is up. So it looks like he'll get an inning, and then you think maybe Ryan Tepera gets an inning.
Yeah, that's probably the way they're going to work it.
5 in the 1st, 6 in the 3rd for the Blue Jays, and neither team has scored since. After the Blue Jays host the Dodgers this weekend, they will head out to the West Coast. More interleague action. They'll take on the San Francisco Giants, and they will see Madison Bumgarner. He's scheduled to pitch Wednesday in the final game of that series. So we talked about how they missed Hamels, but they got Kershaw, they got Sale, and they got Bumgarner. Boy, there's some good lefties around, huh?
How about that matchup? Wednesday afternoon it'll be Marcus Stroman against Madison Bumgarner. And that's what you expect. #1 starters and rotations. They're going to match up quite a bit. Marcus Stroman is thrilled, not because he's going to go up against Madison Bumgarner, but because he's going to hit against him.
Well, in addition to what Madison Bumgarner can do on the mound, he might be the best hitting pitcher in baseball. He's not hitting a lot so far this year. I think he hit 5 home runs last year.
He hit 5 home runs, drove in 9. He has 12 career home runs. And he's a 181 hitter. So he's got 12 home runs and 41 RBIs in 381 at bats. There are a lot of regulars that don't put up numbers like that.
And there have been times over the last few years where the Giants haven't been a great offensive team, and Bruce Bochy would tell you with a straight face that Bumgarner said to him, you know, you need to hit me 5th. Like, enough of this 9th stuff. You need to hit me up in the order here. All 4. Good at bat for Carrera to draw the walk.
Save during the Lawn and Garden Expert Sale, only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
You know, Buck, it's part of the beauty of baseball, too, that you can have a Marcus Stroman and you can have a Madison Bumgarner. Stroman's 5'8", I don't know, 180 maybe, and Bumgarner, he's a big man. But they're both excellent at what they do. You don't have this as much in other sports. You don't have a 5'5" Jose Altuve, not to the same extent. Other sports don't have it, I think, as often as baseball does. Pilar hits it sharply, but it'll wind up being a double play. Nicely done by Alberto, and that will end the inning. End of 7. Still 11-1 Blue Jays. ahead, brought to you by WestJet. We talked about this stretch, Buck. This is a challenging 2 weeks.
Well, it sure is. The Dodgers are in town for a 3-game series starting tomorrow night. Kenta Maeda will open up against Marcus Stroman. Then, after the Sunday game against LA, Blue Jays go to San Francisco. It'll be Aaron Sanchez and Jake Peavy on Monday, Jay Happ and Matt Cain on Tuesday, and Marcus Stroman and Madison Bumgarner on Wednesday, and then the off day and right back against these Texas Rangers down in Arlington.
Left-hander Chad Girardo, recently recalled from AAA Buffalo, gets an opportunity here to pitch in the 8th inning with the Blue Jays holding this big lead. Ryan Goins has come into the game at short in place of Troy Tulowitzki. Blue Jays have auditioned a number of pitchers through spring training and into the regular season for that second lefty role. After Brett Cecil, of course, Aaron Loop is still on the DL. That's one of the reasons why the job is open. What do you like about Girardo?
Girardo's got an unusual delivery, and he changed his delivery from a conventional high over-the-top delivery to sidearm his senior year in college. He was at Mississippi State, and the college coach suggested he try it, and he was reluctant to really commit to it, but he said, you know what, I was just going to throw it as hard as I could from that sidearm delivery, and all of a sudden I was getting everybody out. So then he signed, and this is his 4th pro season with the Blue Jays. He was drafted in the 9th round in 2013, but he creates a difficult angle, especially for the left-handed hitters.
Like a Rougned Odor, who's 0 for 3 tonight, couple of groundouts and a strikeout, and chases that good slider down and away. 1 down.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
All Blue Jays tonight here in the 4th and final game of this series with the Texas Rangers. They scored early and often. 5 in the first, 6 in the third. Girardo in and out of his glove. He had a play if he could have squeezed it, but he couldn't get it done. And Mazzara is aboard.
Yeah, he really kind of had an awkward lunge toward the ball, and you can see how he stretches for it. Hits right in the pocket of his glove, and he'll be charged with an error, and then he really took an awkward step. Watch how he straightens out that leg, and man, that was looked kind of ugly.
Yep.
How he hits this right there and just really kind of jammed his foot into that turf. I think that's why Smoke came over to make sure he was okay.
So a runner at first with 1 out here in the 8th inning, and Delino DeShields will be the batter. His first at bat of the night, came on defensively a couple of innings ago, and Jeff Bannister took Adrian Beltre out of the game and moved some people around. Jay Happ, 7 innings, 1 run on 6 hits. That's 16 consecutive starts. Obviously goes back to his time with Pittsburgh last year, where Happ has allowed 3 earned runs or fewer.
And for me, that's a quality start. 7 innings, 3 earned runs or fewer. I don't agree with the 6 and 3. I think Jay has been terrific, and like I said, he's turned the corner for sure. Pitching with a lot of confidence, and obviously tonight he had a comfortable lead heading into the top of the 2nd.
Ground ball to third. To second one. Back to first. Double play to end the inning. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn from the Samsung Broadcast Studio.
Download the Sportsnet app and stay up to speed with the live pitch tracker, in-depth stats, and exclusive video highlights, plus live stream on the go. Download for free today. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. All kinds of people checking out what's going on. The Blue Jays checking out the Raptors as well. That game on Sportsnet, and they just posted a score up on the Jumbotron here. The Raptors up 7 at halftime on Miami as Phil Klein comes on for Texas. Klein was the pitcher a couple of nights ago who gave up the home run to Justin Smoak in the 10th inning.
Tuesday night, he gave up a 2-run home run after getting one out because Troy Tulowitzki, and then Smoak hit his second home run of the night, the game winner.
Bottom 8, 11-1 Blue Jays. The highest scoring game of the year for the Blue Jays. And on their way to taking 3 out of 4 from Texas and getting back to the 500 mark at 15-15. Line to face Josh Donaldson, 1 for 3 and an intentional walk. Meanwhile, in Baltimore, they're still scoreless. The Yankees and Orioles are scoreless in the top of the 9th. The Red Sox have now moved out to a 4-1 lead on the White Sox, top of the 3rd.
Joe Girardi's not around to see the end of that game.
Early shower?
Tossed out of that game by Chris Guccione, the third base umpire, in the 4th.
Yankees without Alex Rodriguez right now for at least 15 days. A hamstring problem putting him on the DL. And he had hit 3 home runs in the last week. Their offense has been anemic this year, and A-Rod had been their best hitter in recent days. $35,468 people happy they came to Rogers Center tonight.
They got a free T-shirt.
They got a free T-shirt. And they saw Edwin Encarnacion hit 2 doubles and a homer and drive in 6. And he is due up 3rd this inning and is right now making his way into the on-deck circle as Donaldson draws the walk. And Ryan Tepera starts loosening up in the pen, so he'll get an inning of work. Jose Bautista is 0 for 3 with a walk. He has scored twice, driven in a run. Now 3 for his last 31.
The Blue Jays not only have pounded out 14 hits, they also have 5 walks tonight. Been a lot of good at bats by Blue Jay hitters up and down the order.
Moreland playing behind Donaldson at first with a 10-run margin, and they're engaged in a pretty lengthy conversation over there at first base as well. (3-0) the count on Bautista. One-day game into baseball today. St. Louis blanked Philadelphia 4-0. Jaime Garcia had a very good outing. And in a game played earlier this evening, the Indians starting a lot of their games just after 6 o'clock local time instead of the usual 7 o'clock early in the season. They beat Detroit 9-4. Now Klein has walked back-to-back hitters. And Encarnacion has a chance, if he can do some damage here, Buck, to add to those impressive RBI totals.
Yeah, he tied a franchise record already in this game. It's the 3rd career 6 or more RBI game that he has had in his career. That ties George Bell and Adam Lind, who have both had 3 such games. And this one was a long home run, a 3-run shot in the 3rd inning on Darren Holland. And it's the 2nd time in his career he's driven in 6. He's had a 9 RBI game, and if he swats one out right now, he will tie that.
Fouled off 0-1. Nine is also the Blue Jay record for most runs driven in a game. Encarnacion last year. And a guy who's had his name in the record book since the first season of the Blue Jays, Roy Howell, drove in 9 runs against the Yankees September the 10th, 1977. Foul ball, 0-2.
Well, I think when you look at Encarnacion's numbers now, all of a sudden they look very much like the regular numbers for him, and it just takes a matter of a couple of games or things sort themselves out. His home run was his 5th and 6 RBIs, and now it's 24.
High ball 1.
Another thing that's gone right for the Blue Jays tonight, hitting with runners in scoring position. They have 6 hits with runners in scoring position tonight. That's a season high.
On the appeal, he didn't go, and that'll leave it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Encarnacion. Walks to Donaldson and Bautista to begin the inning, issued by Phil Klein. And Encarnacion, a perfect night. A 3-run double in the first, a walk in the second, a 3-run homer in the third, and a double in the 6th.
And now he's 2nd in the American League in RBIs.
Things can change quickly. And a pitch up in the zone, a little bit in though, and he fouled it back.
Starter play tonight. Robbie Cano of the Mariners had 26, and now Edwin with 6 ribbies tonight has 24.
Kevin Pillar's had a pretty good night as well. 3 hits, including 2 doubles and a couple of RBIs.
Oh, he's getting close again. He had a good hack at that pitch. It stayed on the inside part of the plate. I love it when he smells that bat. He smells that scent of burning wood as he creates the friction when he just misses a pitch.
Again, the 2-2. High fly ball to right field. Mazzara now coming in a few steps will make the catch for out number 1. First time that Encarnacion has been retired tonight. And that'll bring up Justin Smoak, who, as we mentioned, his last time up, the only guy not to be involved in some way with the offense tonight. He's 0 for 4. But as you said, if you look back over this 4-game series, the biggest moment of this series was his home run in the 9th inning, probably tied with his home run in the 10th inning on Tuesday night. The Blue Jays lose that game, and this all could have a very different complexion.
No question about it. And then that's why after this game they'll go in the locker room and say, way to go everybody but Smoak. The big guys, we talk about the big guys in our open, how they needed to step up, and Edwin, he is one of the biggest of the big, and he had a big night.
You know, even just a night like this, you just see guys horsing around in the dugout a little bit more. It just changes the whole atmosphere around the team when the bats get going.
Well, and you know, it was just a matter of, everybody felt like it was a matter of time before this happened, but it continued not to happen. And all of a sudden tonight, 5 runs in the first, 6 more in the third, and things are right again with the Blue Jays.
Doesn't mean it'll happen tomorrow necessarily, and it certainly doesn't mean it'll happen Saturday when Clayton Kershaw's on the mound. But Marcus Stroman will take the mound for the Blue Jays against Kenta Maeda tomorrow night. Kershaw and Dickey on Saturday, and then Ross Stripling and Marco Estrada on Sunday. And Smoak's got himself that base hit, and he's got himself an RBI as well. Donaldson in to score. 12-1.
Donaldson scores for a 3rd time tonight, and he's up among the leaders in runs scored. He has now scored 29 runs. He's first in the American League. Smoak, with his first hit of the night, picks up an RBI. He now has 8. He's had a big series against his former team.
Bautista stopped at second on the play, and now Ryan Goins will get his first at bat. Came on it short an inning ago for Troy Tulowitzki. We don't see a whole lot of Goins playing short, his natural position, but of course first with Reyes, then with Tulowitzki, so Goins has played a lot more second base than shortstop for the Blue Jays. You said a couple of nights ago the range is as good as anybody around at second base. He'd be right up there among shortstops too.
Absolutely. He's got a shortstop's arm that plays very well when he's playing second base.
Twelve runs on 15 hits now for the Blue Jays. And they have not struck out once in this game. Ground ball up the middle to second, one and on to first, and the double play will end the inning. The Blue Jays tack on a run. We're going to the ninth.
Join the big leagues and try one of the Blue Jays Acura luxury suites for a business meeting and a baseball game. Call our account executives and find the package that best suits you. 416-341-1635 or bluejays.com/luxury suites.
Thank you, Hazel. Top of the ninth inning at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays in command 12-1. Buck Ryan Tepera will get an inning of work.
Yeah, Ryan has just thrown one inning since being called up from Buffalo, so a chance to get him out there and let him get a feel for the strike zone once again. Chad Gerardo had a clean inning, so he was able to get the double play and get out of the inning.
A big offensive night for the Blue Jays, the biggest they've had this season. A huge offensive night for Edwin Encarnacion. And here's Prince Fielder to lead off the ninth for Texas. Fielder's had a good night, 2 for 3 and an RBI, driving in the only Rangers run. Got a big series going on at Wrigley Field this week. The Washington Nationals and the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs with a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the fifth tonight with Ben Zobrist. What a nice pickup he is. Every team says that as he drives in both runs tonight. Fly ball to left field, and Carrera runs it down for out number one. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Let's go back to Ken and Ivanka. Busy night, that's for sure, and the Blue Jays a big part of that. Here's Ian Desmond.
You mentioned the Cubs Nationals, and if you don't think pitching is contagious, Kyle Hendricks has gone 5 innings, allowed 1 hit and no runs. Everything's going right for the Chicago Cubs.
Almost ahead of schedule a little bit. The fact that they made the NLCS last year, I mean, everybody knew they were going to get better, and they had a lot of great young position players in the system, but man, they got good fast, and now they spent some money in the offseason to really bolster that lineup.
They made two good signings, obviously bringing in John Lester last year and John Lackey this year. They got a couple of pros that have won in the past.
Chopper to short. Here comes Goins. 2 down. Well, with all the offense tonight, let's not forget the work of left-hander Jay Happ in line for win number 4 on the season.
Jay Happ has had a terrific start to his season, and you remember back in the offseason, Dan, when everybody said they signed Jay Happ already, 3-year contract? Boy, he has gotten off to a great start, and he is worth every penny of that contract. And he's comfortable back in the surroundings he likes, and you look at his line tonight, 6 hits, 7 innings, just a single earned run. That came in the first. And then the Blue Jays offense take him to an early lead, and he took it from there.
The Blue Jays are 3rd in the American League in ERA. As that pitch misses inside, a ball 1 to Mitch Moreland. The Rangers are 3rd in the league in runs scored. And the Blue Jays did a good job against them over these 4 games.
Yeah, they sure did. And unfortunately, they lost a tough one on Monday, but winning 3 out of 4 against the Rangers is a pretty good accomplishment.
They've given up 7 runs in 4 games to the Texas Rangers. 3 very close games, 3 nail biters, and then 1 blowout. A strike, 2-1.
The Rangers on the brink of falling to 5-9 on the road. And they're going to go into Detroit, and they'll face Jordan Zimmerman for the first game of that 3-game series tomorrow night.
Zimmerman signed to a big deal by the Tigers, and he's earning his money so far. He's been great. Fouled off, 2-2 on Moreland. So now the crowd of better than 35,000. Many of them getting to their feet in appreciation of the effort tonight by the Toronto Blue Jays. Hard to hit and hard to catch.
Yeah, and Tepera's got good stuff. He's thrown the fastball 96 tonight. He's got a slider and a split that's very effective, and he's pitched well against lefties in the past. Came up last year for the first time, and he could be an interesting complement to this bullpen.
Three-two again. And that's going to drop in for a base hit for Moreland. So the Rangers not done just yet. Ryan Rua will get another at bat. He's 0 for 3. A satisfying night for that man. Edwin Encarnacion, 2 doubles, a homer, and 6 runs driven in. May is his month.
Boy, it sure is. And as we mentioned earlier, he has moved into the 2nd spot in runs batted in the American League, and he started out of the top 10.
There's a chopper up the middle. It'll get through into center field. A base hit for Rua. The batter will be Brian Holiday. Heat and Raptors going at it on Sportsnet tonight. Last score I have, Raptors up 5 early in the 3rd quarter. 2 on, 2 out of the 9th inning here at Rogers Center. And a strike. Going 2.
Ryan Tepera just needs to throw more balls in the strike zone. His stuff, it really works.
That's a consistent 96.
Yeah, he's got real good stuff. And there's life on his pitch. It runs a lot. He's got a nice slider. And he throws that split very effectively. That scattered him in the dugout. It's the last thing they need. Somebody get hit in the dugout.
See, he's a little frustrated with himself. Not a pitch that's going to get offered at because it's so far out of the zone, right out of his hand.
Yeah, and I think what Ryan needs to do is shoot for bigger parts of the plate instead of trying to make perfect pitches. Just allow the movement to take it away from the middle.
And another base hit. Moreland will round third and score, and it's 12-2.
All of this with 2 outs and nobody on. And Cabrera has given up 3 consecutive singles.
Doesn't get a chance to pitch often, wants to make a good impression with John Gibbons. We mentioned last night, I believe it was, that Gibbons said in all likelihood when the Blue Jays get to San Francisco, they'll want another player on the bench. They've only got a 3-man bench right now, 8 relievers. In all likelihood, they will send a reliever down and call up a position player to go with them to San Francisco. But Tepera doesn't want to be that guy. Two on Hanser Alberto. Again, Tepera's getting to a 2-strike count fairly easily, having trouble putting hitters away. Up to 21 pitches now in the inning after he retired the first 2 batters. And now it's over.
Well, the Blue Jays have a season high in hits and runs scored, and it all came together in the first inning after they fell behind 1-0. Pilar singled, Donaldson singled, Bautista walked, and then Edwin Encarnacion had his first double of the night, a 3-run double. He would go on to drive in 6, hit 2 doubles and a home run, and he led the way offensively. While Jay Happ did his job on the mound. Despite giving up a run in the first, Happ pitches 7 strong innings.
A satisfying night for the Blue Jays, a very enjoyable night for the 35,000 in attendance here tonight as the bats break out to the tune of 12-2. So much going on in the world of sports. Let's find out all about it as we send you back to the studio with Ken and Ivanka.